I've got a story about St. George, the patron saint of England. Long ago, in the city of Salona in Libya, the people lived in fear. A terrible dragon had made its home in the nearby marshes. Its stinking breath carried disease, and the only way to keep the dragon from doing even more harm was to give it food to satisfy its hunger. "We have plenty of sheep," the people agreed. "Each day we shall drive 2 sheep off to the marshes. That should keep the dragon quiet." The plan worked. The dragon gobbled the sheep and lay waiting for the next day and the next meal. This went on for a long time. In the end, the people had no sheep left. "What shall we do now?" the people asked their king. The king shook his head sadly. "I've been thinking of everything possible," he said. "It is not easy, but I fear we will have to sacrifice ourselves." The people gasped. What did he mean? "I hereby make a law," said the king. "Each day we will send someone to be the dragon's victim. We will draw lots to find out who must go." So that was the law. The townsfolk wept as one by one they saw their friends and neighbours walk to their deaths. "I would rather die myself," said an old woman, grandmother, as she watched her grandson go. "Why should I not be allowed to take his place?" "That is what the king has ordered," sighed her friend, holding her and trying to comfort her. The following day the lots were drawn again. An official stepped forward to announce the result. "Princess Cleolinda," he said. The crowd was silent. They were watching the king. Princess Cleolinda was his lovely daughter. The king stumbled forward. He was shaking. "I cannot bear this. I will give you all my gold and silver if you let me keep my daughter," he said. "What about my grandson?" shrieked the old lady. "I wasn't allowed to save him." At this the whole crowd began shouting and shaking their fists. "It's your law," they shouted. "We won't let you out of your own law. Send your daughter to the dragon, or we'll burn your house down and you with it." The king soon saw that he could not make them change their minds. But he had one more plea. "Let me have 8 more days," he begged. The king spent the time hugging his daughter and weeping with her. When, on the final day, he dressed his daughter like a bride, it was time to lead her to the dragon's lair. Princess Cleolinda cowered among the reeds, shaking with fear. A man came riding by. George, a soldier with sword and spear. "What's the matter?" he asked the girl. "Why are you here in this wild place?" "Oh, hurry away, sir," she replied. "A dragon lives in this place, and I've been sent to be his next victim, so it does not come and destroy the whole town." The soldier was a Christian, and he was dismayed. "I will not allow it," he said. "In the name of Jesus Christ, I will help you." As they were talking, the dragon came running towards them. George drew his sword and made the sign of the cross of Jesus. Then he rode full tilt at the dragon and pierced him with his blade. "Now, princess," cried George, "untie your belt and tie it around the dragon's neck." Trembling, Cleolinda hurried to obey. Once she had done so, the dragon became as meek as a lamb, and she led it into the city with George riding beside her. As they approached the city, some people were out in the fields, and they saw the dragon. "Help! Run! Save yourselves! Here comes the dragon!" they screamed. The panic spread like wildfire. As they reached one set of city gates, there were people running out of the other gates, hoping to escape to the hills. "Don't be afraid," cried George. "Instead, believe in God and Jesus Christ. If you will be baptized to declare yourselves Christians, then I will slay the dragon." The king had come hurrying to see his daughter. When he heard George's plea, he asked to be baptized at once. Then the townspeople all followed his example. George took out his sword and sliced off the dragon's head. The town was saved. "I shall build a church here in honour of God," announced the king. "I will also dedicate it to Mary, the mother of Jesus, and to George, who has saved us." At the place where the church was built, a fountain began to bubble up from between the rocks. Its pure water was good for drinking and cured many who were sick. "I will give you all the wealth you desire," the king said to George. "Do not give it to me," replied George. "Instead, give your wealth to help the needy. Take care of the new churches in your kingdom, honour the priests who serve in them and listen to their teaching, and always take care of the poor." Then George said goodbye and left. And that is why we have St. George's Day every year on April the 23rd. So here's a little bit. It says, St. George's Day began officially in England in 1222 A church council meeting in Oxford agreed that 23rd of April should be kept as a lesser holy day. However, in 1415 an archbishop decided it deserved more importance and ordered it to be celebrated as much as Christmas. Nowadays, it is again less important. It only gets mentioned in church services, and sometimes the flag is flown. Today, St George is most remembered in England for the cross that he is said to have worn on his armour, red on a white background. It has become the English flag. At sporting events, the flag is waved as a sign of national pride. And here's a little prayer inspired by St George. Dear God, we think about the story of St George, a soldier who fought in the name of Christ. We think about the story of St George, who was concerned to help the poor and needy. Help us to be brave, to fight what is right, and to battle for justice. And St George's Day, there it is. Look, it's the patron saint of England, Canada, Germany, Lithuania, archers, the cavalry, farmers, horses, horse riders, knights, lepers, soldiers, and many others. Have a good day, guys. Bye.